Here we go then, it's time for my early I must add, Afcon 2025 group stage predictions. That's right, we're going to be taking a look ahead to the competition in today's video. Just the group stages. We're only going to be looking at the group phase, the 6 groups, who I think is going to go through, who I think is going to struggle to go through, because of course that group stage draw was made a few weeks ago. So here are my early Afcon 2025 predictions. Why not leave yours in the comments down below and drop a like on the video if you want to see more African football content. Now I've got to say, Group A, it was always going to have Morocco in it in spot A1. They are the host. They've gone 50 years without the cup. They've brought it home. They've got probably the best squad. I mean, you look at some of the clubs of their players now, like Hakimi at PSG, Brahim Diaz at Real Madrid. I mean, En-Nesyri is a fantastic centre forward, and they're at home. They're going to have the home support. Expect a lot of things to go their way. It's very difficult to look past Morocco winning the whole thing. Having said that, in terms of Group A, I think whatever group was drawn for Morocco, I think they always will have to go into that tournament expecting to win the group. So I think Morocco will win Group A, and I think they'll win it quite comfortably. The group's actually, with Mali, Zambia and Comoros, it's a little bit harder than I expected. I thought they'd have a bit of an easier ride to kick the tournament off. Of course, Morocco-Comoros is the opening game of the competition, but I think they'll still be okay. They seem to play Zambia every 5 minutes. I think in the last Afcon, Morocco and Zambia were in the same group. I think in the World Cup qualifying group, Morocco and Zambia are together. Of course, a very familiar opponent for them, and Morocco seem to be coming on top in every matchup against them. So Mali and Comoros, I think, are going to be the biggest test to Morocco in the group. So Morocco are going to come in first position. In second place, I think it's going to be Mali. I think Mali are a very underrated African side. That 2022 World Cup playoff against Tunisia, they should have really done a job on them. They messed it up. They've only got themselves to blame. I think Mali are an underrated side. You look at what they did in the last Afcon. They got to the quarter-final stage. They did very well against Cote d'Ivoire. They should have knocked out Cote d'Ivoire, to be honest. Everyone should have knocked out Cote d'Ivoire, and they didn't, to be fair to them, under Eric Schell. Let's see what direction Mali go in this time. But I think Morocco in the first position, Mali in the second position. I'm going to put Comoros in the third position. Now, of course, Comoros, this is only their second Afcon ever. They've got a lot of players now they're getting that play in France, that play in bigger and better leagues. Comoros football is growing very much so. You can ask Ghanaians what they think about that. They'll tell you that very, very detailed. Even though Comoros were drawn as the team from pot 4, I think Comoros are going to go into third. And I could see Comoros going through as a third place side as well. I just think Zambia, particularly under Avram Grant, and if Patson Daka's not fit, and they're still using some players from when they won it in 2012, like the centre-back Sunzu, I just don't see where the quality, and I'd love to be proved wrong, but where the quality is for Zambia. I think you'd expect Comoros to beat Zambia when those two play each other. So unfortunately, and Zambia were very, very bad in the last Afcon. They've done well to qualify again. Of course, I think Avram Grant, I remember when he was doing Champions League finals with Chelsea and stuff like this, I don't think he's cut out for African football. So I think Morocco in 1, Mali in 2, Comoros in 3 and Zambia in 4. And it's going to be interesting looking back at these predictions, because these are the early predictions. When the actual tournament comes around, we're going to know which teams are going to the World Cup. Those World Cup qualifiers will be wrapped up by then. So that'll be interesting to take a look at. There'll be some teams, of course, that will want to have a good Afcon if they don't make the World Cup, because they've got to make it up to their fans. So it's going to be interesting to see how that pans out. Moving on to Group B, and for many people this is the group of death. You've got Egypt, and this is an Egypt with a fantastic potential Ballon d'Or winner in Mo Salah if things go his way, and Marmoush now has gone to Man City. So Egypt, whole new proposition with their forward line. So you've got Marmoush and Salah to worry about in terms of Egypt. You've got South Africa, a very well organised, well drilled side. The best keeper by far in Africa with Ronwen Williams. And they, of course, came third in the last tournament. They're a good side. But then you've also even got Angola in there, who had a very good tournament as well and had a fantastic 2024 overall, a very successful year for Angolan football. They made the quarterfinals, narrowly lost to Nigeria at the last Africa Cup of Nations. And you've got Zimbabwe, who are returning to the Afcon after being banned in 2023. And, of course, they have got a bit of a rivalry with South Africa. They've got a spicy game as well, and they've got Biliat back in action for them. So this is probably the hardest group to predict, because it's the group of death. You've got 3 teams there that are all capable of winning the group, I think, in Egypt, in South Africa and in Angola. I think it's going to be very, very difficult for Zimbabwe to advance from here. Very, very difficult. Even if they played at their best, it's difficult to see Zim doing well. So I think Zimbabwe will come in the 4th position in this group. Like I said, any of the other 3 could win it. I think Angola are an underrated side. I think South Africa are an underrated side. The thing about Egypt is it's in North Africa. It's going to feel like a home Afcon to them as well, and they've got some good players. So I think Egypt will win the group and finish in the 1st position. I think South Africa will come in 2nd place. I think Angola will come in 3rd place, and I think Zimbabwe will come in the 4th position. And again, even in 3rd, I could see Angola advancing as a 3rd place team. Honestly, this group, anything could happen. It might come down to who can beat Zimbabwe the most, which sounds harsh. Can Angola build on what they did? Can South Africa build on what they did? Like I said, South Africa, we're going to know or not if they've made the World Cup by then in that group they've got with Nigeria. So if they don't, they're going to want to do well at this Afcon even more. And Hugo Bruce is a fantastic coach. But then again, Egypt are just such an unknown package. Didn't win a single match at the last Afcon. But it's in North Africa with an informed Salah and a Marmoush at Man City. You've got to see them coming in 1st place. So Egypt won, South Africa 2nd place, Angola in 3rd, and Zimbabwe in the 4th spot. Let's move on to Group C, and this group involves Nigeria, Tunisia, Uganda and Tanzania. Many people think this is a weaker group. I've got to say, certainly from a Nigerian perspective, they'll be seeing it as a weaker group in terms of they've got 3 opponents there, Nigeria, in Tunisia, Uganda and Tanzania, that you'd expect them to be beating all of them. And you'd say Nigeria should come first. And not only that, they should be getting 9 points out of 9. Of course, it never usually ends up materialising like that. But I think Nigeria comfortably will be coming in the 1st position. I think 2, 3 and 4 is wide open. Now, I think Tunisia appointed Trabelsi. Who knows if he'll be in charge by then. This is not a good Tunisia right now. It might be then, but right now it's not. And the Tunisians themselves will tell you they were lucky to even qualify. Uganda, a resurgent Uganda. Good qualification campaign from them. And Tanzania didn't qualify by luck. They stopped Guinea. The Guinea that beat Algeria in Baraki have not even made the Afcon because of the win, the 1-0 win in Dar es Salaam by Tanzania. So you can't rule them out as well. I think anything could happen here. I think Nigeria in 1st place, but the other 3, it's wide open. I'm going to go Nigeria in 1. If you've got a Zim and you look at Lookman, the firepower. I'm not going to put Tunisia in 2nd. I'm going to go for Uganda to get the 2nd spot. Remember in 2019, Uganda went to the Afcon, and I think they had a really good tournament in that competition. Of course, yeah, Algeria won it. I think they got to the knockout stage as well, where they narrowly lost to Senegal. And I'm going to go Uganda 2, Tunisia in 3rd, and I think Tunisia will advance. And Tunisia have got to have a good Afcon after the last time they came bottom of their group and they lost to Namibia. So I'm going to go Tunisia 3, but I think Tunisia will have enough to beat Tanzania. So I'm going to stick Tanzania in the 4th position. So that's how I've got that group panning out as well. Move on to Group D, where you've got Senegal. Now, we don't know what sort of Senegal this is. I think Senegal, since Cisse has left, it's a very different Senegal side. I don't know if they're still that good. You've got Mane and Koulibaly. They're 2 big boys, and even 3 if you want to throw in Edouard Mendy in there, playing in Saudi. Now, Algerians know all about what playing in Saudi is like. But I don't know if they're going to have that style quality. I think Iliman Ndiaye at Everton has been probably Everton's best player this season. He's a good player. You've got Sarr at Crystal Palace. He is a good player. Other likes of Idrissa Gueye going to still be around as well. I just think they've got a lot of players, ageing players in the Middle East. And of course, the intensity isn't there. So I'm not sure if Senegal are that good as when they were in 2021. You've got DR Congo, of course, came in 4th spot in the last competition. They've got good growing confidence there. And of course, Senegal and DR Congo are also together in the World Cup qualifying group. How many times have we seen in these draws where the same teams are playing each other? And we'll get to Group E in a minute where that's happened as well. It's just getting a bit boring. But you've got DR Congo in there, and then you've got Benin and Botswana, who I think both of those won't be good enough to go through. I don't think Benin or Botswana will be advancing, even as the 3rd place side. I think DR Congo are going to win the group. I think they're going to come in 1st. I like what they're doing. They had a very good performance against Morocco in the last Afcon. They've had a good tournament all round, really getting to the semi-final stage. And of course, again, a narrow game where they lost to the host Ivory Coast. Everyone did. I think DR Congo 1st, Senegal second. Botswana are not going to go there just to make up the numbers. I'm going to put Botswana in third. They might even just get a point. But I'll go Botswana 3. And I go Benin last. Benin, just a bit of a waste of time, really. Again, narrowly qualified against Libya as well. So I think that's going to be DR Congo 1, Senegal 2. That might surprise a few people, but again, that's how I see that one panning out. Now, Group E. Boring group, because it's Algeria against Burkina Faso again. Algeria against Equatorial Guinea again. For Sudan, I mean, every game, the 3 group games for them is going to be like a cup final. What a moment for Sudan to be making it to this Afcon. That is fantastic. Of course, Kwesi Appiah in charge, finishing above Ghana, of course, qualifying by beating Ghana. So whatever happens, you've got to respect what Sudan have done. But they've got a lot of players that play together at the same clubs, and of course those clubs can't even play in the Sudanese league at the moment. I think they're playing in Libyan league or Mauritanian league, so it's even harder for them. We don't know what's going to happen by the time this tournament comes around, if that will still be the situation. But Algeria, having come last in 2021 and 2023, we don't know what Algeria this is. Literally anything could happen. I'd be shocked if we won the group. I genuinely would be shocked if we won the group. And I think Burkina Faso are a very, very underrated side. Now, they were the lowest side in pot 2. So people say Algerians should be happy. But it's never easy when Algeria play Faso. It never is. And how many times does it end up being a draw? And Faso are better at beating the lesser sides. And then you throw in Equatorial Guinea, who we had in qualifying, but we saw what they did in the last cup. They beat Ivory Coast 4-0. Is Nsue going to be back? That's a big factor as well. You might be surprised. I think Burkina Faso will get first. I don't think they're going to beat us, but I think they're going to come in first. I think Burkina Faso will be better at dispatching the lesser sides. So I'm going to go Burkina Faso in 1. I'm going to go Algeria to come second, and that would be a massive achievement for us considering what happened the last 2 times around. That would mean we'd actually have to have won a game, which we haven't done in 6 years. I think Sudan and Equatorial Guinea is going to be tight, but I'll go Equatorial Guinea in 3rd, and I'll go Sudan in the 4th spot. And then we come to Group F, last but not least. You've got the holders Ivory Coast, but are they that good? They've certainly got good players, but we know they were very, very lucky. Very, very lucky to not just go through, but to win the whole thing. They'd never have won. They've sacked the manager. They thought they were out. Quite a remarkable situation. You've got Cameroon in that group as well. You've got Mozambique and you've got Gabon. Now, I think we all agree that either Cameroon or Cote d'Ivoire will be first or second. It's going to be tight. Is Anana going to be at it? Is he going to be at it with Cameroon? We need to see Brian Mbeumo at an Afcon because his injury record has been unlucky. I think Cameroon are in very good form. And I actually think Cameroon are going to come in first place here. I could see Cameroon 1 and Ivory Coast in second. That is how I see this group panning out. I think Cameroon will win it. I think Cote d'Ivoire will come second. Gabon, it's got to be the last Afcon for Aubameyang. It has to be. Scoring the goals in Saudi, but he's going to be old by then. An Afcon legend. Has he still got enough? I'm not sure. I think Mozambique will come third and Gabon will come in the 4th position, and I think Aubameyang will bow. I think he'll score some goals, but just don't think the rest of the team, Bouanga, Lamina, I don't think they're quite there. So that's how I see that panning out. So those are my early look ahead to the Afcon 2025 group stage. Do you agree with those predictions? Let me know in the comments down below. Of course, these are early predictions. A lot is going to happen between now and making those, tournament predictions closer to the competition. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Subscribe for more. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. And I think it's got all the makings to have a cracking cup. Can Tunisia and Algeria bounce back? Can Morocco finally win a cup after 50 years? Or Ivory Coast going to defend their title? Are Senegal, Congo, Egypt, Cameroon going to spring a surprise? Is North African football going to be on the rise considering the tournaments in North Africa? It's so many stories wherever you look. But one thing's for sure, we're not going to be watching Ghana.